What is up, people? I hope you're doing great. I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to another video. Um, Obviously, yesterday the Champions League came back, football came back. Okay, well, football in Spain and Germany did play during the weekend, but Premier League fans were starved of football, or I guess were exempted from football for this weekend because of the sad news of Queen Elizabeth's passing. Obviously, may her soul rest in peace. Uh, but yeah, man, football came back yesterday. Champions League. Liverpool playing Ajax, Bayern Munich playing Barcelona, and Tottenham playing Sporting Lisbon. Some good games, I mainly watched I was just changing between the Liverpool game versus Ajax and the Bayern Munich game versus Barcelona. I didn't really watch the Spurs game, but I did look at some of the highlights and I saw the goals. Some good goals by Sporting. But yeah, man. But before I go on to the video, please, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. That really massively helps, and also please push that thumbs up button so that you can get please push the thumbs up button so that you can like the video, and then please push the notification bell so that you can get notified each time I post a new video. So yeah, man. I think, obviously, I'll just start with the early kickoff game between Sporting Lisbon and Tottenham Hotspur. Now, Tottenham Hotspur haven't started this season at a good note, and obviously Spurs fans might jump on me and say, but we've won, it's only our first defeat against Sporting Lisbon, so how can you say we haven't started that well? What I mean basically is that yes, Tottenham have had good results, but they haven't played good. So that's what I mean. They haven't looked really convincing and pleasing to the eye when you watch them in terms of the quality that they have possessed in the games that they've played. So that's what I mean when I say they haven't really started well. So yeah, man, I think the defeat against Sporting was a long time coming, simply because you can't, it's not sustainable to play each and every game and not play well, but then you continue to win. You can't do that. You have to put on some good performances from time to time, even if sometimes you're not going to put on a good performance, because it's not possible to play well all the time. Sometimes you're fatigued. Sometimes you some of the players are carrying a few knocks, so you're not always going to get 100% performance, but you can't sustain 50% performances over and over and over and over again. Eventually you get beat, which is what happened to Tottenham Hotspur. So I think really, I don't think I can say Tottenham were atrocious or they were appalling in that game against Sporting. They just didn't deserve to win. So that's how I would basically describe it. And while Sporting Lisbon won by 2-0, that game, if it was a draw, I don't think anyone would have complained from both sides, simply because the two teams, for the majority of the game, did not play up to the level where you say that team deserved to win. But Sporting, in the dying minutes of the game, were just clinical and they just created a few chances. It was a good goal from Sporting Lisbon, their second goal. They scored from their winger. I forgot the guy's name, but he's apparently a youth prospect from Portugal. It was a really good goal from him. He basically dropped the shoulder to beat Perisic, and then or was it Romero or something? I forgot who it was, but it was between Romero and I think someone else on that right hand side of the Spurs defense. He dropped the shoulder to beat the one defender, and then he basically did a little piece of skill to get the ball in between the legs of the Spurs defender, and then he was through and goal, and it was a cool and calm finish from him. So it was a good goal. Their second goal was a good goal. Their first one was obviously a header from a corner, which you could say Spurs could have defended the corner better. But at the end of the day, I don't think I can say Sporting Lisbon deserved to win, because for the majority of the game, they didn't really play to that level where you say they dominated each and every proceeding in the game. That's not what happened. But in the dying minutes of the game, they were just they had more cutting edge up top, and then they created their two chances and they took them. But Spurs definitely did not deserve to get a win from that game simply because they didn't create enough chances to warrant a win. Even though Harry Kane did create a few chances for Emerson Royale, and on another day, really, if Emerson Royale was a better player, he could have scored a hat-trick because Harry Kane created a few chances for him, but he didn't take them. And that's basically like it's the old adage in football that if you don't take your chances, you'll get punished. At the top level, if you create chances and you dominate a game, but then you don't take those chances, you will get punished by the opposition, which is exactly what happened to Tottenham Hotspur yesterday. And it's actually exactly what happened to not Bayern Munich, to Barcelona in the game against Bayern Munich. Obviously, I'll get to that shortly. But yeah, man, I think maybe it's a good wake-up call for the Spurs players, for Antonio Conte, simply because they have been putting a consistent run of bad performances, just that they have been clinical. So they've been creating a few chances here and there, and they've been taking them because they have quality players up top. But that's not sustainable. You have to, from time to time, put on a good performance to warrant a win. You can't just keep relying on your front players that it doesn't matter if you play bad, you still win because you have quality players up top. Because sometimes those players misfire, like how they did yesterday. And therefore, now those people you rely upon, you now can't rely upon. And then there's no one else in the team that can score goals. And you don't have clear patterns of play in terms of playing and playing well on a sustainable and have a good run of form, a sustainable run of form, whereby you're really playing at a high level, so that even if your front players misfire, you still have some quality players across all areas of the pitch to chip in with the goals, which I think Spurs really struggled with yesterday. But yeah, maybe it's a good wake-up call for them, that they need to pull their socks up. They need to perform at a better level than they've been performing at in the beginning part of the season. Simply because if they keep on performing bad and they keep on they keep relying on Harry Kane bailing them out and relying on Son, even though Son is not really on a good run of form at this moment in time. I don't think he's scored so far this season, and that's 7 games in, and that's really low. That's really bad form by Son's high standards in these previous seasons. Like last season, he was the top scorer in the Premier League. But I'm pretty sure he will get going because he's a quality player. But you can't rely on your quality players up front to keep bailing you out of bad performances. So I think Antonio Conte is not going to be happy with that result, and he's going to try and drill his team and make sure that they start putting on a consistent run of form and they start putting on some good performances. And then obviously there's the other game that was playing, that takes us to the next game, which was between Bayern Munich and Barcelona. Good game, especially in that first half, where Bayern Munich never really got going in that first half, and they had a few half chances here and there. Jamal Musiala was the best player on the pitch, really, because he was bossing that midfield battle. He's a really quality player, that young lad, Musiala from Bayern Munich. He plays for the German national team. Actually, that kid was born in England, so he could have chosen to play for the English national team, but he opted to play for the German national team. And he's a really quality player. He's a brave player in possession, and he commits players. He wants to create something. He's not a safe player who's always looking for the easy pass. He's always looking to take the game by the scruff of the neck and just taking people on, trying to create something for his team. I think that's a really good quality to have especially from a young player. But in that first half, Bayern Munich didn't really have, even when they had the ball, they had the ball in spells, and even when they had it, they just didn't look like they had a cutting edge up top. They didn't look like they were, going to score. And the only team that looked like they were going to score was Barcelona. Even though they have some top players up top, they've got Lewandowski, who's one of the best strikers in the world. They were really misfiring. So Barcelona were creating in terms of progressing the ball from defense to attack, but when they got to the final third, they were just not precise enough. And as I've said about the Spurs game, it's the old adage in football: if you don't take your chances when you're on top, you will get punished by the opposition, because the opposition will grow into the game, and when the opposition get their chances, they'll take their chances. It's exactly what happened to Barcelona. They were dominant in the first half, and they created all the opportunities in the first half, and they didn't score. They were not clinical enough in front of goal. And Bayern Munich came up in the second half, guns blazing. They were playing a lot better. They were playing with a much higher tempo. They looked like they were thingy. And their two goals really were kind of like, they were sucker punches, because at the time when they scored their first goal, Bayern Munich, Barcelona were on top. And then Bayern Munich, through a counter-attack, got a corner, and then they basically scored from the corner through Lucas Hernandez. And then, shortly after that, Barcelona were progressing their play, trying to create something, moving the ball. Bayern Munich won the ball high up the pitch. Sane, like there was little interplay between Sane and Thomas Müller, I think, or Musiala, I'm not sure who he was linking with. Then Sane basically ran through the Barca defense, and then he basically finished the chance, like basically past the goalkeeper, and it was just like that, 2-0. And then now Barcelona had to kind of impose themselves in the game. They had to come out. They were leaving spaces, and then Bayern Munich were just trying to counter-attack them. But the game was finished basically because it was then a 2-0 lead, and it was going to be difficult for Barcelona to come back from that. Even though there was really good play between Pedri and or Pedri, like how the Spanish people say it, and who else? I think Marcos Alonso. And then Pedri was really unlucky with his finish, because he actually did the hard part of his finish, which is to dink the ball past the goalkeeper, because Neuer basically tried to make himself big, and then Pedri dipped the ball, like he chipped the ball over Neuer, but then it was just on the wrong side of the post, and it basically hit the post and it went out. If it was just like maybe 2 inches to the right, it would have hit the post and then went in. Or probably an inch though, or half an inch, because it was really he was really close to scoring, and it was actually good build-up play from Barcelona that led to that chance. But apart from that, in that second half, they struggled really to create much from the game. And yeah, man, they were left to rue their missed opportunities in that first half, because when they were on top in that first half, they didn't take their chances, and as a result, they were punished massively by Bayern Munich, because Bayern Munich were just more clinical in that second half. So I think, yeah, man, Barcelona in the end were left to rue their chances. Apologize for any noises that you might hear. My niece is right next to me because I'm doing the video, so she basically, she's still young, so she wants to basically see what I'm doing. So I apologize for any noises you might hear. I just want to have a sip for water here. So yeah, man, about Barcelona, yeah, I think Barcelona really were left to rue their missed opportunities in that first half, because they really played well in that first half. And yeah, man, it was not a good return to Munich. Excuse me. It was not a good return to Munich for Lewandowski, because I'm pretty sure he would have been hoping that he was going to score, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. And yeah, man, they ended up losing 2-0 to Bayern Munich. And I didn't think Bayern Munich actually played that well in the game. As I've said, I thought Bayern Munich were lacking a cutting edge up top. Even though they have some quality players, they were really missing that presence of a striker, which they don't have now, because Müller was playing there and he kept on like swapping with Sadio Mane, who had a quiet game actually by his standards. But yeah, man, I think, excuse me again. Yeah, man, I think it was a good game to watch. Barcelona were on top for large periods of the game, but Bayern Munich were just more clinical with their chances, and as a result, they won the game. And then that takes us to the next game. Obviously, that's Liverpool versus Ajax. Obviously, Liverpool were coming to this game with a little bit, under a little bit of scrutiny, because they hadn't played well in their previous games. They lost their previous game to Napoli 4-1. That was the Champions League game between them and Napoli last week. They lost that game 4-1, and they were really atrocious on the night. They were appalling, and by their standards, they were really bad. And that's probably one of the worst performances under Jurgen Klopp that football fans have probably seen. So yeah, man, but like I thought Liverpool were a lot better in terms of their intensity, in terms of their pressing. Thiago was a welcome return in midfield, because he had more spark about him. He was able to kind of generate a few more chances. And I think another person who is very underrated, who actually played a role in Liverpool performing a lot better than they did in their previous games, is Diogo Jota. I think Jota really gets the way Liverpool play, and he really understands the style of play of Liverpool. And as a result, when he's missing, obviously last season when he was missing, they didn't really struggle because they had Sadio Mane. But now because they don't have Sadio Mane, if Jota is missing and they have to play Darwin Núñez, or they have to play this guy Firmino up top, it's just not the same. Apologize for that, man. That's my niece, eh? Yeah, I guess it's the perks of having a toddler in the thingy, in the house. But yeah, man. I think Diogo Jota really understands the style of play of Liverpool, and as a result, when he's missing, I think they're really gonna miss him this season because they were really good with him up top. And Darwin Núñez is not. I don't think Darwin Núñez is a bad player, but he's certainly not ready to kind of start each and every game for Liverpool if they want to be competing at the highest level, if they want to be in a final of the Champions League again, if they want to be in the like if they want to give themselves a chance of winning the Premier League title again. I just don't think Darwin Núñez understands the way Liverpool play as of yet. I think he still needs to learn. He still needs to develop. Sometimes his touch is really not up to scratch. I'm not going to criticize him for missing chances because every striker misses chances. So it's just a matter of making sure that you are in those positions all the time. And he's really good with his movement. But I just think he still needs to kind of like get used to Liverpool, and Liverpool still need to kind of get used to him. I think there is a quality player in there, just that at this moment in time, it's just not clicking. And I think the return of Jota is going to mean some time on the sidelines for Darwin Núñez. I think he's going to play maybe in the FA Cup or in the Carabao Cup, or maybe in the easy Champions League games or the easy Premier League games, like against bottom half teams. But I just think against the top sides, I think Jota is going to be starting for Liverpool because he's a really good player for them, to be honest. Yeah, man. I think there were some good games of football yesterday. Obviously, Liverpool were a lot better. As I'm saying, I think probably Jurgen Klopp gave them a kick in the backside, and he probably called out a few of them for their bad performances. And yeah, man, I thought Joel Matip at centre back was also good. It looked a much better defensive partnership between him and Virgil van Dijk. Yeah, man, I was actually quite impressed with this one play I saw from Trent where the Ajax left winger was trying to take him on, and then he stood firm and defensively really he stood firm and he won the ball back from the Ajax player, and then just like that, he turned defense to attack by basically hitting a long diagonal across the pitch. And it went to Luis Diaz, really took it well. His first touch was really good, and it just turned from defense to attack just like that. And I think those are the qualities that Trent Alexander-Arnold really possesses, and I think that's what football fans want to see from him, because I don't think Trent Alexander-Arnold is as bad a defender as people make him to be, but sometimes his attitude and his application with regards to defending is just not there, and his defensive awareness is just not there. I think, being a good defender is all about attitude. Yes, being a great defender is an art, but being a good defender is about attitude and application. If you tell yourself that you're going to compete defensively, then you are going to do a decent job in terms of shutting your opponent down. But if you don't tell yourself and you don't apply yourself defensively, then you are going to struggle against the good players, because those good players are going to apply themselves and they're going to tell themselves that they're going to beat you when they go one-on-one against you. So I just think it's a matter of applying yourself all the time so that you can give yourself a 50% chance of at least getting that ball. Whereas if you don't apply yourself, then you give yourself a 0% chance of getting that ball as the defender. And I think that's really what people want to see more of from Trent Alexander-Arnold, because he's a great player going forward. There's no question about it. He's the best right back in the world when it comes to creating opportunities and creating chances. It's basically like playing Kevin De Bruyne at right back. That's how lethal and how good Trent Alexander-Arnold is going forward. But it's just sometimes his application and his attitude to his defensive duties are not there, and sometimes he costs his team because of that. So I just think that's something we need to see more of from Trent Alexander-Arnold. I thought Salah looked really good in that game as well against Ajax. And I think Ajax actually played well in spells. Obviously, they were dominated by Liverpool pretty much in every aspect of the game. But Ajax did create a few opportunities, and if Daley Blind was clinical with his chance, they could have actually taken the lead, because Daley Blind got a really good chance to score when it was 1-1. I think it was around the 60th something minute. I don't quite remember. I don't quite exactly remember what minute, what part of the 60th minute it was. But yeah, man, I just thought Liverpool looked a little bit more like themselves. Obviously, there's still a long way to go. They still need to start getting consistent and getting back to that level that we all know they can perform at, which is why I was actually saying I'm not going to change my predictions of the Premier League in terms of saying that Liverpool are going to finish second, because I simply don't think Liverpool are going to perform bad for the whole season, simply because of the standards that they've set for themselves, and simply because of the quality players that they have on the football pitch. So yeah, man, I just thought it was a good performance from Liverpool yesterday, and yeah, some good games in the Champions League all round. Obviously, those are the games I said I was going to look at in terms of yesterday. I'm going to look at the games tonight. Obviously, City's playing Dortmund, and Chelsea are playing RB Salzburg. It's Graham Potter's first game, so that's going to be an interesting watch in terms of seeing how they're going to play, even though I'm not really going to watch it because I watched the City game. But yeah, man, so I'm going to be making a review of those videos tomorrow. And yeah, man, that brings us to the end of the video. Guys, please, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that support, and also please push the notification bell so that you can get notified each time I post a new video. And please push that that thumbs up button to like the videos if you like the content. And yeah, man, appreciate the support. Thank you for watching the video. My name is Lukhanyo Sechigela, and thank you for watching the video. I know I haven't been saying that in previous videos. I just I noticed that a lot of YouTubers actually say their name, so I just try and say it as time progresses. But yeah, man, I really appreciate the support, and thank you for watching the video, guys. Have a great evening.